Welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you joined today to learn more about the activities that the Alaska Children's Trust is currently working on related to the prevention and healing of child abuse and neglect, you have arrived. Welcome, Kuyona. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce my team members and then share a little bit about who I am and why I'm here today. So here you will see our team of three, myself, Eliza Posner, and Sarah McInnes. Eliza Posner is a program specialist. She was a former Alaska Fellow last year. And Sarah McInnes is our current Alaska Fellow. Both Eliza and Sarah are from Connecticut and were Alaska Fellows. I luckily was able to convince Eliza to stay a little longer here in Alaska. They are both great, amazing people, and I'm grateful to have them on my team. Sarah just recently joined us in September and will be with us till May of next year. We make a great team, but we know the work we do is a small drop ripple in the ocean compared to the work you all do. So, Kuyana. Chmaihui, Tara Christensen Stiller, Oswitahak, Wangulasach Viakanangin, Kijahwik Mi Sukhliana. Hello everyone, my name is Tara Christensen Stiller. My Sugbiak name is Oswitahak. It means one who takes care of a family, one who knows. I am Sugbiak Unangin. My families are from Old Harbor and King Cove, Alaska. I am the daughter of a Sugbiak Norwegian commercial fisherman and proud Unangik mother who is the daughter of traditional Unangin midwives. I am a mother of 2 children and a wife to a husband of Swedish descent. I am the first in my family to have attended college and earn a degree. My Western and Indigenous education has directed me on my path of health and healing. I learned compassion in my work as a nursing assistant. I became familiar with basic nursing skills as a medical assistant and an educator, program designer, implementer, and evaluator with my degrees in public health. Traditional ways of knowing lessons began early in my childhood and went on through today. Tests of traditional ways of knowing were often proctored by elders, aunties, uncles, parents, and by the land itself. Skills and knowledge of traditional ways of knowing were conducted by observing and doing, listening to hear, teaching with story, and with the ongoing life lesson of mastering the art of walking in balance. I learned how to help people heal or just feel better in general in traditional format. Whether it was with plant medicine, physical or non-physical touch, or holding space, analysis of dreams that instructs one to share or act on. With the balance of these skills and knowledge, I am a community healer and public health practitioner. My aim is to work together with communities to address post-colonization, ailment, and disease, and systems of oppression utilizing what is known as two-eyed seeing approach, something I will discuss a little bit more later on in this presentation. But the two-eyed seeing approach is something I have been doing, but just learned this year it actually has a name, thanks to my studies in Indigenous health. Two-eyed seeing is the concept of taking the best of what you have learned, Western and Indigenous, and creating Indigenous frameworks of public health. So that's my main life goal, is to support the work of Indigenous health to better achieve ways of whole community healing. A piece of that framework to whole community healing includes the work of my team and what we do at the Alaska Children's Trust. I've been at the Trust for almost 2 years now. I serve as the program director that focuses on the development of connection to our tribal communities, building and connecting and working together to prevent child abuse and neglect. I'm sorry I couldn't provide this presentation in person, but this presentation should provide a little bit more detail to support your in-person experience, in which Eliza will be presenting on my behalf, along with a guest presenter to be announced. Today I'm here to tell you a little bit more about our work at the Alaska Children's Trust in the prevention of child abuse and neglect and healing from. And more importantly, focus today's presentation on our pilot project, Pathway to Hope. So sit tight, make sure you're comfortable, and please connect with us after this presentation. Kuyana. Some of the work we do here at the Alaska Children's Trust is provide community training and support. One of the curriculum trainings we provide, and was one of the original first trainings that we provided under this department, was History and Hope. Its original work was developed by a statewide network of amazing people. The network was developed before my time here at ACT and was developed and supported by a steering committee that revitalized the curriculum to increase awareness, knowledge, skills to prevent adverse childhood experiences in Alaska. It was geared towards schools, healthcare institutions, and organizations. History and Hope has continued to thrive and evolve with updated curriculum and soon the development of a general curriculum that will reflect the communities and the people it hopes to serve. Principles into Practice. Principles into Practice is a trauma-informed curriculum that came into fruition right before I began at the Alaska Children's Trust. It was an idea to continue the work History and Hope had already started to build a more trauma-informed state of Alaska. Principles into Practice works one-on-one with organizations to develop strategies, policies to support knowledge, skill, and awareness of trauma-informed practices and of the 6 trauma-informed principles. And there's Pathway to Hope. We'll discuss this more in depth very soon, but for a general description, it is an Alaska Native guidebook and video that works within the framework of culture, history, traditional values of the community to prevent and heal from child sexual abuse.
Other community training and supports we provide is a training called HOPE. HOPE stands for Healthy Outcomes from Positive Experiences. So HOPE experiences support children's growth and development that benefits across the lifespan. It was developed by Tufts Medical Center. The introduction HOPE training that we provide is a paradigm shift from History and Hope. In History and Hope, we really focus on creating that awareness of adverse childhood experiences. Here in the HOPE training, new research has shown how positive childhood experiences can level out those ACEs and or even prevent them. It's a paradigm shift based on the understanding how positive childhood experiences, or PCEs, drive healthy development and mitigate those effects of adverse childhood experiences. The other training we provide is Everything Everyone Needs to Know About Child Sexual Abuse Prevention. This was developed by our partner in Prevent Child Abuse America, Chapter Vermont. So everything everyone needs to know about prevention of child sexual abuse prepares participants to protect children from sexual abuse. Participants will learn about CSA, the risks and impacts, how to foster healthy relationship skills in children, how to recognize and respond to grooming and sexually abusive behaviors. Participants will learn the knowledge and skills they need to prevent and respond to child sexual abuse. And lastly, youth mental health first aid. In our efforts to address and support youth mental health first aid is designed to teach after-school professionals, parents, family members, caregivers, teachers, peers, neighbors, health and human service workers, and all other caring community members on how to help an adolescent who would be around the age of 12 through 18 who's experiencing a mental health or addiction challenge or is in crisis. These trainings are all offered for free and open to requests with the exception of youth mental health first aid. Give us a call and we can schedule you in. And you'll see on the right-hand side of this slide, I have put some code boxes. So if you just take your phone out and go to your camera and aim your camera at one of those boxes, it will direct you to the site, our website, where you can find more information about these trainings and or request them. So the HOPE and Everything Everyone Needs to Know are available upon request. The Youth Mental Health First Aid, that code will take you to the After School Network event calendar. And there you will look for Youth Mental Health First Aid trainings at least a month ahead. If you don't see any in the next 3 months on the calendar, please contact us and we'll let you know when the next available training is so that you could sign up. I highly recommend signing up early for the Youth Mental Health First Aid training as it fills up very quickly as soon as it shows up on our calendar. Some other ways that you could get involved with ACT and the work we do in prevention and healing of child abuse and neglect is through our community engagement and support activities and committees. One of those is the Alaska Native Advisory Group. This group works to provide guidance on how to best serve Alaska Native communities in a good way. If you'd like to be a part of this group, we have meetings biannually or as appropriate to meet project development. And something new we are working on this year is to develop some mini grants to support youth mental health in a format such as supporting the costs to do cultural activities and Native ways of being. This grant also looks to support healthy youth and adult relationships by requiring at least one adult and one youth participating in a cultural activity to support cultural teachings and Alaska Native ways of knowing. This isn't just for one adult and one child. This could be small group or large group. Depending on the activity, we are open to discussing ways that we could support cultural activity teachings. Please call us to let us know if you'd like to learn more.
This year at the Alaska Children's Trust, we connected with many from around the state to brainstorm and plan activities we can do together to create an awareness, support, and education of true history that is not accounted for in the history books to this day. This day is nationally recognized as National Day of Remembrance of U.S. Indian Boarding Schools on September 30th. This year, we were inspired by the work in Juneau, who provides an annual recognition of this day. So we worked with them to brainstorm ideas and created a week worth of activities and events that support that awareness and education around the travesties that occurred in U.S. Indian boarding schools' attempt to erase Native Americans and cultures. As the saying goes, kill the Indian, spare the man. The heart, the artist who created this heart, who was This art was shared from the Juno group, and the beautiful heart image was created by Juno artist Michael Kinville. So Kuyana for sharing that beautiful heart artwork that really indigenized Alaska Orange Shirt Day, made in Alaskan. So Kuyana for that artwork. If you'd like to learn more, we will be doing this every year, and we're always looking for more folks to join us. So contact us. We usually start planning for this in August, but may start a little bit sooner if we have a rainy July. We'll see. We'll keep in touch on that. And if you'd like to learn more, you could go to our website and see all the Orange Shirt Day events that occurred this year.
And now we're going to talk about our pilot project, Pathway to Hope. Pathway to Hope is a community-led framework to address child sexual abuse in Alaska Native communities. It was initially developed in 2004 by Alaska Native leaders together with Diane Payne. Pathway to Hope helps communities break the silence surrounding CSA. It promotes healing for survivors and works to prevent future abuse. Pathway to Hope is a community-led framework to address child sexual abuse in Alaska Native communities. Keyword, community-led and built, to mold this framework to meet the needs of the community, not the needs of the project or grant reporting. It also works to build capacity and skill in Indigenous health, which is public health through the Indigenous lens. We provide current CSA prevention information based on research. We provide guidance to utilize a public health model to identify community readiness. You share your information with your community how you see fit. We provide training on universal Indigenous healing ways, but it's up to you and your community to decide strategies, incorporate your way of being, culture, language, elder knowledge and wisdom, and healing practices. This is how we restore and heal from trauma. With all these things, we ask that you share your story through the lens of the community, and we hope to learn from, assist along the way, and see how your community is preventing and healing from CSA via your development of your community action plan. We hope to connect with communities who recognize that this change takes time and will be committed to seeing that change. We know change doesn't happen overnight, so we're expecting to build long-lasting relationships to support you along your way in your journey on the Pathway to Hope.
Pathway to Hope is developed on a foundation of 4 pillars. The first one is coming together. Coming together as a community to determine if preventing and healing from unresolved collective trauma like child sexual abuse is something the community is ready to begin. We determine this level by conducting an annual community readiness assessment. The next pillar, teaching of adults and children. Coming together to learn and listen together, developing community strategies based on what we learn and what we already know from our traditional ways of being. Learn about CSA through prevention, but most important, through the lens of historical trauma. Creating an understanding of how we got here and working together to build forward to acknowledge history of 7 generations before us and looking to best secure the future for the next 7 generations ahead of us. Revitalizing traditional values. With that, one strategy is decolonizing our values and revitalizing our traditional values. And lastly, whole community healing, which all of these support whole community healing. When we heal ourselves, we heal our ancestors and support the prevention of harm to our future generations, restoring balance of health and wellness according to our way of being, your culture, your community.
The first pillar of the foundation of Pathway to Hope is coming together to return our children to their sacred place in our community, the Heart Center. They are the future of our people. It is our responsibility to ensure they are all protected, coming together as community to determine if preventing and healing from unresolved collective trauma, like CSA, is something the community is ready to begin. We determine this level by conducting an annual community readiness assessment. SAMHSA developed and utilized among many state of Alaska behavioral health early intervention grantees. This assessment is scored and assesses communities on dimensions of existing community efforts, community knowledge of efforts, leadership, community climate, community knowledge about the issue, and resources related to the issue. The scores are based on these dimensions' support and the development of strategies. These strategies based on the dimensions will provide general goals and general strategies, scoring each dimension 1 through 9, ranging from 1, no awareness, to the highest, 9, high level of community ownership. ACT will provide training on how to develop, implement, and analyze scores of community readiness. We have contracted an evaluator for this project and participating communities to provide training and technical assistance on how to conduct this analysis and assessment. The second pillar of the foundation of Pathway to Hope is teaching of adults and children. Pathway to Hope promotes evidence-based and trauma-informed care from a cultural perspective. It supports statewide efforts and current work that have been instrumental in creating a unique mold of prevention, healing, and development of community strategies that work together to protect children, heal survivors, and support whole community healing. Trainers, also called community facilitators, will present facts and teach techniques that will be asked to build upon this framework that will create the foundation of their own unique models specific to their community and their cultural practices. In the second pillar of teaching of adults and children, we need to recognize something my mentor, Dr. Rita Blumenstein, and the wisdom she shared with me and many others, telling us we can't move forward till we know our past. Thinking about historical trauma and what happened to our ancestors. Genocide, pandemics, colonization, soul spiritual illness, and also intergenerational trauma. What we see across a lifespan of trauma and those affected by it. This began diverting our path from our traditional way of being, our traditional way of life. We were forced to assimilate. We must work together, be patient, and utilize the tools and traditional knowledge to break this silence of abuse. So far, we have talked about two foundations of Pathway to Hope, coming together and teaching of adults and children. Now we'll look at the third one, revitalizing traditional values. Revitalizing traditional values, putting back what was taken, and implementing a two-eyed seeing method of Indigenous health. This is a concept that means something along the lines of taking the best of both worlds, modern and traditional, to reestablish balance. It'll be up to you and your community to evaluate, enforce, and empower traditional values and ways of being that support and protect children. This is also recognizing current Western ways of being that have replaced our values and have perpetuated child abuse, neglect, and child sexual abuse through systems and policies that contribute to an imbalance of power. So the two-eyed seeing approach, the name of it, came from Elder Albert Marshall, and he quoted, "To see from one eye with the strengths of indigenous ways of knowing, and to see from the other eye with the strengths of Western ways of knowing, and to use both of these eyes together. That is two-eyed seeing." Here are 10 universal values shared among Alaska Natives. Show respect to others. Each person has a special gift. Share what you have. Giving makes you richer. Know who you are. You are a reflection on your family. Accept what your life brings. You cannot control many things. Have patience. Some things cannot be rushed. Live carefully. What you do will come back to you. Take care of others. You cannot live without them. Honor your elders. They show you the way of life. Pray for guidance. Many things are not known. Seek connections. All things are related. I love these values because they're very intentional and help guide us to be a better human being. Thinking about CSA and child abuse and neglect, there are many ways we can utilize our values to reestablish our ways of being. One is by not condoning current Western societal norms and values and behavior that perpetuate CSA and abusive behavior. Some of these societal norms and values have been accepted through assimilation and colonization. Some identified are traditional male roles. Men are expected to exhibit dominating, controlling behavior. Limited female roles. Women and girls are expected to be submissive and often presented as such. 3, power. Controlling behaviors are often seen as positive. 4, violence. Using violence to get what you want is seen as a normal way to solve problems. 5, privacy. Individual and family privacy is highly valued and supports the suppression of trauma that can occur and remain silent. It is time to recognize the destruction of this way of being that has caused and break it, to revitalize, reestablish, and repower our traditional ways of being.
The last and final pillar of the foundation of Pathway to Hope is whole community healing. One way of doing just that is beginning the process of whole community healing. Why does it take the entire community? Why do we all need to be involved? Because whether we like it or not, we are all affected, even if we are not closely tied or connected to the trauma. What is it going to take? It's going to take all of us. One strategy we will promote and share ideas to do with communities as a way to support whole community healing is to conduct activities such as Alaska Orange Shirt Day, also known as National Day of Remembrance of U.S. Indian Boarding Schools. These events are multi-generational, multicultural, interracial, collective, and connected. We know that this training of Pathway to Hope will not provide all the answers, nor the strategies to implement. We will provide a few, but it will be up to the community to decide what will best support their efforts in prevention and healing of unresolved collective trauma such as child sexual abuse.
So if you are interested in learning more or feel your community would like to participate in this training to become a community facilitator of Pathway to Hope, ACT will support your journey along the way. We'll provide training and technical assistance. We will work to build capacity and support teaching and support of the community action planning. We will work to build a connection with you and your community to gain permission and consent to begin the work. This is vital. We don't want to start work in which community is not ready to begin. We will provide travel, lodging per diem to be covered for 2 participants from your community to attend the 5-day in-person training to become a community facilitator for Pathway to Hope. We will support community teaching and offer in-person and virtual support. We will train on the community readiness and provide evaluation support. We will provide continued support and partnership over the next 4 years and possibly more. So if you are interested, we would love to hear from you and your community. If you'd like to learn more, please contact myself, Tara Christensen Stiller, Program Director at tstiller@alaskachildrenstrust.org, and or Eliza Posner, Program Specialist, eposner@alaskachildrenstrust.org. You could also go to our website, alaskachildrenstrust.org. Kriana, we look forward to supporting the journey to healing with you and your community.